Good morning. Today is March 4th, 2015. A call to order. Mr. Eldon Callan.
Here.
Mr. Ed Hawkins.
Here.
I remembered the names. Great. At this time, I ask for a moment of silent meditation. We stand and then pledge to the flag. Thank you. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to move forward, even though I know some of us are very disappointed with the losing in overtime last night. So we'll start with consents and approval.
Okay, 9 exonerations, $2,151.35, which actually is 13 and 14. Fiduciary orders as of March 4, 2015, and you also have an order to set a hearing for the estate of Mr. Bassia.
Right.
Do you want to read that now and include it, or do it out?
We'll do that separate.
Minutes of February 18th and 25th. Vouchers, General County Fund, $87,652.66. Purchasing card, $16,509.95. Coal Severance Fund, $2,006.12.40. Camp Muckley Purchasing Card, $230.05. Chestnut Ridge Park, $2,277.58. Chestnut Ridge Park P Card, $130.40. Mason-Dixon Park, $1,644.25. Purchasing card for Mason-Dixon, $31.48. Home Confinement Fund, $6,635.42. 911 Purchasing Card, $288.71. 911 Cash, $1,651.42, for a total of $119,764.32.
Move
Okay.
for approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Include the board of review and equalization minutes.
Oh, okay. We also need a motion for just to
Move
include.
to approve the minutes to the
Second.
Board of Equalization and Review.
Second the motion.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Okay, we also have here a request, with your permission, if you would, a motion that allows me to set the hearing for the estate of Luigi Basio, a.k.a. Louis Basio.
I'd move that we set the hearing on the petition to remove the personal representative of the state of Luigi Basio, a.k.a. Louis Basio, March 25th at 11 a.m.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Do I need to read the entire motion, or since he just stated it? Okay, since he stated it exactly correct. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes. Thank you very much. Okay. Are there any members? We were going to immediately go into executive session. I will wait a second. See, are there any members of the Board of Education here out there? We'll hold off and let's see if they arrive or not. Okay, we'll just continue moving. We will now have comments from the public. Please state your name, your address, and be respectful, and we will be able to listen to your comments. We're not allowed to respond at this time, but we look forward to hearing your comments. So is there anyone now from the public who'd like to speak? Okay. Just state your name, Mr. Giuliani, and address, okay?
Good morning. My name is James Giuliani. I live at 256 Prairie Avenue, Morgantown, West Virginia. A historic Alexander Wade home, national landmark. I'm very proud. I'm here today again to talk about taxes, talk about private-public partnerships, talk about West Virginia University.
Okay, so you just have to.
I was here maybe 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. I'm not sure. January 26th maybe was the day, so whatever that was. I actually left town the next day. I've been in Florida, so stay away from this. Don't get upset at me about that. But I got back to town, got a couple phone calls that were sort of disturbing, confusing. And when I was here at the last meeting, I said to everybody, I said, you know, maybe I understand what's going on here with this tax situation and these public-private partnerships and West Virginia University and gaining a new relationship and cooperation and the things that we need to do as a community. But I'm not so sure that I understood. And I'm sure that I don't understand. And I'm more confused today than I've ever been, okay? And I'm not sure why. Now, what I want to start back and is go back just a little bit, all right? I came in here a couple years ago, as we all talked about, and at that point in time, we all thought taxes were being collected. And I put my iPad out and I said, I see there's an assessment for College Park. Well, I don't know if we all believe in magic or not, but I understand now that the property that was assessed now doesn't have any value and no more has an assessment. I understand the other projects have a partial assessment, a full assessment, but maybe there's a problem with one of them that it didn't get sent to the right address, something like this, so therefore one's going to get partially taxed, another one's not going to be taxed this year because of a situation where it went. Okay. Well, I wish that many, many moons ago that we would have had the opportunity to sit down and have meetings. Because I did come to this commission. And I've gone to this assessor many times, and what's very frustrating, and I do want to bring this out, because I thanked Mark Music last time, but this time I have great concerns. Because I haven't gotten a phone call, I haven't gotten a text nor an email from Mark Music through this whole thing since we had started this negotiation deal or whatever, or he was supposed to start making decisions during his time frame. Now, it's been said that Mark's done everything he was supposed to do. The only thing maybe he didn't do, he could have acted faster. Well, here's what I would say, is that we need open meetings on this. And I'm not saying there's not been an open process, that people haven't come to you. But I know one thing. I came to the round table that was county, Board of Education, everybody, and 2 or 3 different people asked me, James, are you speaking tonight about these public-private partnerships? And it was somehow taken off the agenda that it couldn't be talked about. I've come here and been told many times, leave my email address, leave my phone number, that we're going to set up a meeting with you. Wintertime came, summertime came, wintertime now came again, and now we've got a decision. Or we don't have a decision. Can we open this up? Because I've also now heard that it's going to be the courts to decide. We need an open process. The public needs to know what's going on in this, okay? There was one small article in the newspaper that said, hey, developers, builders, commissioners talk taxes and things. But we need to talk. We need to have an open process. I mean, I don't know what to say. Because here's what I read in the paper this morning. City of Morgantown's shortfall, 3.6 budget. I don't know about Mon County. I know there's issues with it, okay? We can't be competing against one another. We need cooperation. We need to know what the heck's going on with each other, okay? We talk about fraternities now, saying that we're against them, okay? And is this outrageous? I guess the best defense is an offense. So I don't know what we've been doing wrong, but we've been coming to you, okay? And Dave will follow this up with some more. But can we get some meetings? Can we get an open process? Can the public really know what the heck's going on? Probably most people don't even understand what public-private partnerships are. And here's what I can tell you. There's going to be more and more of them in the future, because just as governments need money, where are they going to look for their money? They're going to look to the private sector. And guess what? You're going to then compete with each other. Is Dave going to be able to build any more? I've got a lot of key property. I couldn't think about building right now if I wanted to. I wouldn't even consider it with what's going on here, because it's so unknown. We've got a president, says Gordon Gee, who says we're going to 40,000 people. Are we going to 40,000 people? I've never had a discussion with him. He won't answer my phone call. I've asked for a meeting. I'm pretty involved in this community. Wouldn't you think he talks to every daggone student, and how much respect did they pay for him? They didn't pay him the respect to send him a letter before they sent out and say, you're trying to get rid of us. And this man works with them. Please work with all of us. Thank you all for taking your time with me today. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and your comments. Mr. Beaufort.
Dave Beaufort, 6200 Minute Lane Drive. And here before, and got a little bit to say on different aspects. Very, very, very disappointed in this assessor now. And you know, Mr. Hawkins, Mr. Bloom, Eldon, you did your job. Okay, Mark finally did his job when he was, you know, pressed to do it. I'm going to change the subject here for a little bit, but if you sell real estate in the state of West Virginia, you got to take a class, you got to go to school. If you are a doctor, physical therapy, teacher, you have to go to some kind of a class and have some kind of educational background and testing. My wife, 25 years ago, went to VOTech, so she could be a surgical tech. Okay? They just don't let people do things. You have an issue here now at the county with people that aren't being trained. What I'm asking this commission, whether it's mistakes, whether it's not knowing, whether it's ignorance, or whether it's incompetence, I believe, and I grew up with Mark Music, I believe he can be good at what he's elected to do there. He's got 4 years left. I believe that we need to sit down. I have been trying to get communicated with him for over a week now. I have stopped in there twice. I've talked to his assistant. I have called him 3 times. Ever since the suit, he's taken his personal. Well, I've taken it personal too, along with the entire community, the business people, the families, the soccer moms. We are getting shortfalled here. We are the experts in the real estate. The Jim Giulianis, the Zip Shears, the Beafor brothers. We have the real estate and we pay the taxes, and many other people that got involved in this and that paid over $100,000 in legal fees. And then you all paid about $2,100 maybe and shared it with Mark to get an answer from Mark Sad that was the same answer that we spent all the money and all the court filings. We went to him. He drug us out for 9 months. We knew there was a deadline. He finally got his answer. He waited for the very last week, and he assessed College Park, he assessed University Place, and he assessed Evansdale Park, which are all public-private. Very simply put, creative finance, you call it whatever you want. WVU owned the land at College Park. WVU bought the land, $15 million in Sunnyside. WVU bought the land, 14.7 out in Evansdale. We as taxpayers subsidize that. Whether you all want to believe it or not, every person in the state, they turned around and they leased that property to private developers. You could call any kind of creative financing you want, no different than Mon General buying all those trailer parks and those apartments, turning around and leasing it to Dave and Rick. And we're building those office buildings out there and we're going to pay taxes. How can, as Jim said now, that the assessor does his job late, then all of a sudden has a hearing with you all and has zero, a $50 million College Park has no value. We need to have a consultant. We need to have an attorney, that not an attorney in divorce law, family law. You need the expert on real estate law. I got 11 different attorneys that work for us in all different things. That's what we're asking, to come in here. We've got other things to do today. But you all are following the law. We're not seeing it followed out in D.C. and we're not seeing it followed in Charleston. One thing I said as a smart comment is, let's keep whacked on taxes. Because now we can see if the state's going to do this and that, and we're short on tax money here, maybe the Board of Education will step up and understand and not be afraid of WVU or the situation. We need tax dollars. And if we're this short in the city, it's because they haven't collected permits on these private developments. The point is, we're going to all be paying more taxes. I have no problem paying more taxes. Most of the people in this community don't have a problem if they're getting something for it. But it is not right when private developers, private people are making profit and paying no taxes and snubbing their nose. The facts are there, the information is there, it has been there. So we need the expertise, whether it be in the knowledge of the training of the assessor, whether it be in the knowledge of the assessor having the right people around him. When I moved from the clothing business 24 years ago, 1991, to the construction business, I got a partner that knew what he was doing, okay? And because I didn't know what I was doing. And I learn every day. And I have nothing against Mark other than the way he's treated me in the last week with 3 phone calls. I stopped down there and then I called an assistant to him. And he won't call me back. I'm a taxpayer of this community, and there's a lot of people that are calling me at home. Doctors, families going, what in the hell is going on with our county commission? And I said, no, wait a minute. They have explained to me what has happened here. There has been a mistake made somehow. But first off, whether it's the wrong form that was mailed over to University Place, and they're going to get off on $49 million assessment and save $750,000 to this community this year. I don't buy that. I don't care where it was mailed. I don't care if it was the wrong form. As a real estate owner, and everybody in here that has a house, car, anything, we must by September come to this tax office, and we must give you our amounts and give you a current address. So I believe you need to investigate, and I believe that Lynch should not get a free $750,000 ride. I believe, and again, Mark Nessero's not getting his ride, and that's why he's so pissed off, because his attorneys didn't do his job, their job, the right way. They have taken the College Park plan and they have modified it Just like I've taken maybe a building plan, or someone taken an office building, and they've changed the architecture. They took the plan that ACC uses all over the country, 125,000 plus apartments, 135,000. They're a very professional, they're on the stock market, they know what they're doing. They pay taxes. There is a program they do not pay taxes. It is when the school or the university does a deal where they sell tax-free bonds. They put it out for bid. That College Park, as sure as I'm standing here, is identical to the other three, and there's another one, and there's some more coming on. And again, the College Park ACC group they're doing one in the Sunnyside Commons. They're running it through the city, they're doing everything, because the WV didn't buy their land. There's only one factor here. The land underneath those three properties are owned by WVU. Other than that, the simple words, lease, fee, estate, means over $3 million today to this community for everybody. Taxes, schools, and everything. So I'm going to say the smart thing again, as the smart ass, or however you want to say it, is we should keep getting banged and lose all this money in the community for the taxes, and then everyone's going to step up like the prevailing wage. They're trying to get rid of the prevailing wage in this state because you're going to get 25 to 30% more bang for your buck in the future, because that prevailing wage is not correct. So if we're out a bunch of tax money, what's going to happen? We're going to have to raise taxes. Then you're going to have everybody raising hell. Why are we raising taxes when there's tax dollars that aren't being collected? So please, if you could put together something, as Jim Giuliani said, it is very, very important to this community to collect the tax dollars. 55% of this county pays for 100%, and that's fine. That's fine. We've got the university, we've got churches, we've got NIOS, we've got government jobs. That is fantastic. But there's a lot of free rides out there, and I'm not one of them, and I don't expect to be one of them. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Beerford. I do want we're not allowed to respond, but I do want two clarifications so you're
Yes.
aware. The assessor's office is a 4-year term, so he only has 2 more years.
Oh, I missed that one.
And
I'm
also
not in politics.
for the public, the meeting Mr. Beerford is talking about is called the Board of Equalization. And where the Board of Equalization meets is that's where the 3 of us sit down and decide how a property is assessed, and we just have to make a decision of whether it was assessed correctly or not, and that's all we're allowed to do. Well,
Let me
Go ahead.
clarify. Value.
the value
Yeah.
of the assessment.
Deal with value.
I respect that, and
Nothing
one
else.
thing the public doesn't know, as Jim says, there should be more information. See, I did not know I was allowed to come to a meeting like that. It's not my property. But bottom line is I understand you all did your job. And again, sometimes we make mistakes. You did your job, but for that assessor to somehow assess that property, $20-some million, College Park, and send them a notice of 10%, and then all of a sudden stand there with it by himself without any educational background on assessing, and look in your all's face and tell you it's got 0 value. Woo! That's a mind-boggling for him to agree with the other side's attorney that just appealed. You had to do what you had to do. You followed the law, and I can't ask for anything more than that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the public who'd like to speak? Seeing none, we close the public session. Thank you very much. Again, there's no one here from the Board of Education out there. Looks like they're not coming. Okay. Renetta and Grants. Hello, Renetta.
Just have one item today. We received the contract for the Governor's Community Participation Grant Program for $3,000 for Camp Muffley. They applied for $3,000 for furnishings, for the dining hall, tables, chairs, and other furnishings. They're actually for the classrooms that are down on the lower level, tables and chairs. So I'm just asking for the signature of the president.
Move to approve and authorize the president to sign.
Second. Been properly moved in second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, it passes.
Thank
And
you.
it's done in blue ink,
Thank you.
so it can't be faked.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's start with correspondence, application for payment.
Okay, I have an application for payment to Justice Center. This one is current payment due $1,431,612.60.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We've just paid another bill. Good.
I have an additional letter, actually, this is a request for budget revision from the sheriff.
Okay.
Received a check for $669.74. This is for the sheriff's department providing security services at Westwood Middle School. He's asking that the amounts be included in his law enforcement 700 budget.
Move to
Okay.
approve.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes. Okay. Section B, response from the Monongalia County Solid Waste Authority.
Would you like me to read this, or just basically,
Yeah, why don't you just give a,
it's just that
yeah, I don't think it needs to be
Mr.
read.
Helmick does not intend to resign his position, he's appointed by the Soil Conservation District, and unless they would request that he leave, he will be continuing. He would like to work with the commission and has invited you to their meeting on Monday, March the 30th, the extension office at 5 o'clock.
My problem with all three commissioners attending anything is it could constitute an unannounced meeting. It's just really bad practices, and we've in the past, and we have voted to authorize Commissioner Hawkins to represent us at that meeting. And I don't think we need to do it again, unless the president thinks otherwise.
No.
But I have grave concern, and I know a lot of groups want to get all three commissioners in a room, and that's just a bad practice. I don't like to do it, and I won't do it. I'll go any place individually, but I hate to go with a quorum because it just, unless it's properly announced and everything, you run the risk of violating the open meetings laws and the sunshine laws, and I just don't like to do it. So, as far as I've always liked Hayward, I still like Hayward. It's never been an individual issue with Mr. Helmick. I think he's a nice guy. I just know that we've got a problem. We've got to figure out how to resolve it. The only way you can resolve it is sit down and talk to one another. I don't know how else to resolve it. So, in terms of saying that the commission needs to show up at their meetings, I just think that's improper, and I would urge us not to, and not just solid waste. I don't care what it is, volunteer fire department, seniors. I don't care what it is. I just think there's I think there's a problem if formally all three of us show up at a meeting to discuss and actually deliberate on what we might do later on as a violation of open meeting laws. That's my belief. I'll open that up for discussion.
I've already placed the event on my calendar,
Thank you.
so
Ed.
I intend to attend.
Thank you.
I wasn't going to respond, and I wasn't going to read it, but I do want to read two statements out of this sentence. I suggest you familiarize, since it was sent to me, I suggest you familiarize yourself with state code regarding your ability to change the appointments of other government bodies. If I'm correct, the three of us sent the letter. We asked them to either work with us or, if they chose not to resign. We didn't force them at this time. The other comment that I have to really does not sit well with me is, given your relative lack of experience with operating a viable recycling program, some level of ignorance of this business is understandable. I just find it somewhat demeaning that when you have a group that is getting substantial amount of funds from us and we've asked to work with them, you would only think it would be proper to come to us since we're giving you the money. On 3 separate occasions, we had 2 members. 2 members do not make a quorum. The 2 members, we discussed numerous issues and positive issues to try and work out the solution. We never received any comment from the other 3. We never received a comment that they were not going to attend. We did not receive anything, and we're trying to work with them. In fact, I want it well known that it got so bad that we asked them for budgets that they refused, and I want that word, they refused to give us their own budget of money that the county taxpayers were giving funds to. So it's up to the commission. I think it's a great idea for Mr. Hawkins to go to the meetings. However, we're 3 people, and as after talking to the state, I'm planning to recommend to keep moving forward with or without them. It's apparent that they choose not to work with us at this time, and it's truly unfortunate because it's the citizens who suffer, and it's time to drop personalities, and they were put there to do a job and uphold the law, which is what they're supposed to be doing, which is promoting solid waste and recycling, and the second thing is promoting a solid waste management program. Nowhere in there does it say make money. And I think that's what got lost in this whole discussion. Anyone else want to say anything? I'll be quiet.
Well, I just want to add to or further clarify. I know it hadn't been done this way in many counties, in our county for many years, but for the last number of years that I've been here, I have emphasized that it's a statutory requirement that this commission ensures any money given is spent properly and in accordance with the laws, because it belongs to the taxpayer money. And if we give money to a group and they misspend that money, we can be held personally liable, as well as the county can be liable as a commission for negligence of duty. Or it's a statutory requirement. We know how this money is spent. I know people say it's my group and it's none of your business and we don't have to tell you. Well, the reality is the statutes require us to know where the money goes, and I've taken the position, as this commission knows, in the past, that if you're not willing to abide by the statute, we don't give you money.
Right.
Period. End of story. Next.
Thank you. Okay. And with that said, we are having recycling this Saturday for 4 hours. Just remind, from 7 to 11 o'clock. It is open where anyone can come by in the county, and we're looking forward to seeing the community, and hopefully the snow will be gone by then. Okay, unfinished business. Appointment to Route 2 I-68 Authority.
Dawn Murphy has left the Development Authority. Holly Childs is the new director. She was here for just the interview and the briefing. She said she would be willing to accept the appointment, and it would run until June 30, 2016.
I would move that we appoint Holly Childs to that board.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It passes. Okay. Next thing is contract for food services, Camp Muffley.
We discussed this.
Yes.
Renetta's put this together for you. Food service agreement between the County Commission and Landmark Ventures LLC, doing business as Full Bowl Catering, and this will be for food service at Camp Muffley this summer, and it will include the 4-H camp.
And did Mr. Hawkins want to say anything? Because you did attend the meeting where it was discussed.
It was discussed at the meeting, yes, and the Leaders Association had a little dissension, but it had to do more with the approach rather than the offer that was most generous from County Commission. So it was unanimously accepted,
Great.
and so I would propose that and make the motion that we
Yes.
accept this.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second, and I really want to congratulate the 3 commissioners. I think this was a great compromise and an excellent start for future programs. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Is there anything else under unfinished business?
No.
Okay. New business. Discussion of levy rate to set public hearing for Wednesday, March 18th at 10:15. We were waiting because today is the day that we are supposed to get the actual rates from the Charleston, let's just say that. What I would like to do is, if by the end of the meeting we don't get it, Renetta's at the phone waiting to hear, I would ask that we move the meeting to recess until we get the rates, so we can have this discussed today, so then we can put public hearing.
Well, if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
Some information that I was going to share later
Oh.
on may be relevant here. We heard the discussion about taxes and all. The House of Delegates last night passed across the board $40,000
Oh, 40.
homestead exemption. It's currently 20. The proposal was that it was raised to 30 at the county option. I wrote, as this commission has authorized me to work on legislation, I wrote that I believe that the second to the West Virginia Association of Counties, the County Commissioners Association, that I truly believe that this would bankrupt a lot of counties. That the 20,000 flat across the board is acceptable. The 40,000, I believe that it's more appropriate for 40,000 to be the second 20,000. Let's put it this way: the second 20,000 should be on a needs base, if at all, should be on a needs base. Now, here's been my dilemma on this. Monongalia County desperately needs an increase in exemption for the simple reason because we have seniors that lives in houses, that had their houses all their lives, that have properties that are artificially, values are artificially increased because of WVU and economic growth money in the county. So people on fixed incomes that retired 25 years ago, saw many of them during the nightmare of the reappraisals a few years back. They retired 25 years ago, at that time on a pretty good salary, but they're still fixed income, and they can't afford their taxes. So for Monongalia County, it really would help those seniors that and why I call it an artificial value in their property. There's no way for them to get the value out of their property because they don't want to sell. They want to live there. Their husbands built it, or they built it, and they've lived there, and they've raised all their children, and they want to die there. So it has a value that has no meaning to them whatsoever, but we tax it at that higher value. So that's my dilemma. Monongalia County would benefit from this. Many seniors in Monongalia County would benefit in this. The obverse of this is that there are many counties that percentage of seniors is so high that this would $40,000 homestead exemption would bankrupt those counties. There's no way that they could survive. Those counties should survive. And as this commission's committed to, and as all elected officials are committed to, you know, we don't apologize for our success in Monongalia County, but as such, we believe that we hold an obligation to all the other 54 counties to help them and work with them and to recognize their problems. So that's my dilemma.
Well,
good for Monongalia County and not.
Well, your dilemma's going to even change. This is what just happened. This came from the House floor late last night at 11 o'clock p.m.
I watched it.
The House amended to increase it from 20 to 40 and make it a statewide election.
Right.
No
Right.
more. Okay, no more county
That's
option.
that's what they took out the county option. That's what I was explaining.
Oh, okay.
I really think it should be a county option, but
Right.
they did. That's what I'm talking about. The point of the matter is, and why I think we ought to just go ahead and set a public hearing on some sort of amount, and that doesn't mean that we're gonna raise it, is that if this homestead exemption passes at 40,000, our budget will lose $1.2 million. $1.2 million will come right out of our budget like that.
Yeah.
We got obligations, and although I'm not saying that I want to increase it all, because as I said before, my basis is what's the money going to be used for? Just like I talked about earlier, where's the money going to go? How's it going to? What public benefits is it going to provide? But because of the volatility of, and I'll talk some more about that later on, of this legislature jumping all over the place. I've never seen so many bills all over the place. But I'll address some of that later. But I think we got to go ahead and just set the hearing, and there's no problem if at one point we decide, no, we don't want to have the hearing because we're not going to do it. We can always cancel the hearing, but you can't advertise it
Right.
late.
I agree.
That's my thought.
I agree. It's unfortunate that we're not going to be allowed to help ourselves. Again, another issue for home rule, if you will.
Yeah.
But
There's one other curveball that, you keep mentioning the counties lose. I think the people in Mon County are starting to speak out because I think what everyone also forgets, if you have that and double that increase, there's now a shortfall to the school system. So the question's now, how is the school system going to make up that money? Now, supposedly, their answer is, again, generically, somehow by the school aid formula. Well, if there's not enough money coming in now, and you don't have enough money, where are you going to come up with that difference of the funds? And it will cost the counties and schools in the state $40 million. So that's, again,
That's across the state.
across the state. So again, this is something, and it was passed with just 2 no votes. The problem, again, being this legislature doesn't understand the unintended consequences. And I'm concerned too, but I'm more than willing to set up a public hearing, and then we can always cancel it if we had. Is there, you see, this is what's becoming so difficult, because we don't have all the answers, we don't have, so.
But it's easier to set up a public
Yes.
hearing and
Cancel
cancel
it.
it. than
Okay.
We can't go back and set it up after the fact.
Right, but we have to have a firm levy rate of what you would.
Right, and that's why I still want to hold off, so we won't cancel the meeting, close the meeting, we'll keep it open till the rest of the day, so we will reconvene once we get the levy rates, because we need to discuss the issue about having also a public hearing for discussion of the levy rate, so.
We can do it at, I would suggest 10:30 on Wednesday, March 18, which would be
Okay.
pretty much the last time we can do it. I'll have to get an ad in the paper on Friday the next week in order to have that, but it has to be a specific advertisement with the amount
Right.
stated.
So we have 2 different hearings, though.
No, just one.
Well, what he's also asking for, are you also hearing for the public hearing for the exemption?
No.
Oh, you're just asking for one, okay.
I'm just saying that we could go ahead and do it with
Okay.
an amount.
Right.
Well, we have, if you want to discuss it now.
9.5 is the lowest in the state, Marshall County's at
Right.
10.
Thank you.
That
I guess we'll deal with
has
it.
information on levy rates,
Possible increases that might be necessary for you to consider the state
Yeah,
levy
coal
rates.
severance funds are coming down.
There's a couple, you have a couple major things, like you said, the coal severance, you got the payment to the Justice Center, you just have this possible 1.2 million. You also have the electric, what do you call it, utilities plus cleaning of the building there and this building, so you have the double. There were a couple other things we're very worried about, the upgrade and enhancement of 911. That's going to be mandatory. That's a problem that's coming down because we're going to the 911 enhancement.
And we got a governor that's talking about taking money away.
And they want to take the money away from that. We just lost another $100,000 for concealed weapon permits. So I mean, we're at a situation that and I want to put this in. Since the public has been really adamant about a recycling program, we're going to have to put in 6 digits easily, which would be around $100,000 for the first year to consider a recycling program. So you can see all these add up. Also, one other thing that I requested that I had asked Eldon, and I know Ed's interested in, is that with the transportation, we were looking to start promoting Milan Park and the stadium. We have no public transportation out there. So we want to start to see, and you're talking $250,000 to set up a bus route for there. So these are all increases. We've not had one in 4 years. I know everyone's concerned, and I'm more than willing to make a throw out a number if no one else does first. Sure.
And this reminded me, and this is an important factor too.
Sure.
And that is that during the property reappraisals, we were committed, the county
Right.
commission at that time was committed, and it was part of the plan that was presented to the governor of state tax office, was to remain revenue neutral for a period of 3 years, which we have done, which resulted in a slashing of our levy rate. It was at 12.12 and above, I think, at that time. I think it was above 12 for at least a decade before.
Yeah, I think it was
There's a history
Yeah.
here. behind
Yeah.
it.
Oh, it's in here too, okay.
It was
So
12.
so it was
12,
well
20.
above, it was well above 12.
Mhm.
And most counties, and I don't like to compare levy rates, again, it goes back to what the money's being used for in public service. But I think that, to look at, for public announcements, for a public hearing announcement, I think returning to the pre-property reappraisal nightmare period of 12% would be a good one.
You mean 12 cent? Well,
12 cents. per
12
hundred.
cents
Yeah.
per hundred, which is
yeah,
It's 9.5 cents
point
per
1 to
hundred.
whatever.
10, 11,
percentage.
2.5.
Yeah.
2.5 cents. And in fact,
12 cents, I should
yeah,
say.
yeah, that's why I wanted to make
Yeah,
sure.
12 cents, yes.
Well, and except for 1 year out of that 10, that's actually the lowest figure.
And-
The other
Still
is a cent lower, 11.99. So
Right.
Right.
And
I agree.
In fact, I want to just read for the record, and then we'll hand it out. Just to give you an idea, we're in Class 1. Let's read the rates this year that hasn't been provided for next year. Okay, Berkeley, 14.3 cents. Cabell, 14.3 cents. Harrison, 13.92. Jefferson, 14.04. Kanawha, 14.3. Marion, 11.46 right now, but I know they're going up. Marshall, 10.26. Mercer, 14.3. Mon, 9.5. Ohio, 14.3. Putnam, 14.3. Raleigh, 14.3. So except for one other
Did you
county.
say Preston and Taylor both 14.3?
Yeah, Preston and Taylor. So, and we'd still be 2.3 cents below. And I believe that, I think all three of us are in agreement.
But I want to emphasize, I don't want to cut you off,
Go
but
ahead.
I want to emphasize, this
Sure.
is not saying we're going to raise that.
Right, we have to have-
We're not saying
right.
that, we're just saying that for discussion purposes, I think we
Right.
need to go ahead and advertise for a public hearing. What's the
Okay.
date? I'll make the motion. I move
Sure.
we have a public hearing on the levy rate on
Wednesday, March 18, 10:30.
March 18th at 10:30.
Yes.
And that we advertise a proposed 12 cents rate.
Okay.
Second.
12. Okay, it's been probably moved in second, but I'll hold off on a second. Is that hot off the?
This is hot off the.
Boy, I have to thank you.
Okay.
We've been waiting to hear that.
Waiting for this. This is, levy rate is suggested by the tax department is at 10.08.
Mhm.
So you'd be raising it too.
Yeah, so we'd
We'll
have
have to use that
10.08.
12 cent figure to go in our advertisement.
right.
Okay. I
Okay.
think we ought to.
Thank you.
The advertisement.
Thank you, Eric. Perfect time. Okay, so it's been properly moved in second to have a public hearing and the discussion for it. Is there any other discussion?
I have none.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, we will have a public hearing. Thank you. Perfect timing. Okay, let me get back to where we are. Okay. Okay, next item, which I can't.
Essay contest.
Essay contest, oh yes.
Did a little planning for that this week. Like to get these out to the 8th grade classes in Mon County. It's an essay contest as we did last year for, it's actually National County Government Month, but I'm calling it Monongalia County Government Month.
Okay,
There will be first, second, third place prizes awarded in the commission meeting. The essays are due by noon on March 27, and then on April the 15th, we'll have Mon County Day, where the winners will sit side by side with you or invite the elected officials in for a brief statement on what they do, what their offices do. So,
apologize.
So
I'll let you know more on that.
when would the papers be due?
They're due on March 27th,
March 27th.
yes.
So
And then we'll have time to review them, choose a winner, and have the day
We need-
activities on April 15th.
are you gonna have time to hit
Yes.
all the schools like you did
I will,
last time?
when, if you could put an announcement, and I will call the schools, already been called by Mountaineer Middle. I'm supposed to talk with St. Francis and probably Westwood. Anyone, yeah, I'll be able to do it in time.
Great.
But this will be mailed to them anyway.
Good.
The application process, the rules, and just letting everyone know that we're interested in participating.
We
statement.
passed
think it was
a
a great-
motion last week to proceed, so
Yeah.
this is just an announcement.
Information.
That's great.
Okay, thank you. Reports from elected officials. Is there any elected official? Okay. Hi, Sheriff, is there any elected official that'd like to speak?
I just have one thing. Thursday morning, I know we discussed this last week about the concealed weapons bill proposals, and you know that Senate Bill 347 passed out of the Senate 32-2. Thursday morning at 8:30 on the House floor, they're going to have a hearing on their bill, and they've asked for representatives from different agencies to show up and even talk at that hearing. So there are scheduled, I think, 6 different organizations right now that will be there talking, but they've asked for law enforcement representation throughout the state. So we're going to have myself and 2 other deputies going down, and other agencies in the county are sending people as well. So hopefully it'll be well represented, and at least the House will understand what our concerns are and maybe not ratify what the Senate did.
I was with the Sheriff's Association, Rodney Miller and Sheriff McComas, for the hearing before the Judiciary Committee, was it? Yeah, I was with them at the time, so I thought they did a good job in presenting the problems, but I think their minds were made up.
It was relayed to all of us that, I mean, as you know, I serve as the Vice President of the State Sheriff's Association, so the Executive Committee was made aware that before that hearing was held, that the committee members already knew the answers that were going to be given to the questions that they had, and
So my assessment wasn't too far off base.
so what you're saying is dead on, and they already knew what they were going to do. That's all I have.
Okay, any other elected officials? Oh, hi, Mayor.
How are you?
How you doing today? Your hair looks good. Had to do that. Had to get you before.
Stole my thunder. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say that we have been pretty busy with the recycling. We probably empty at least once a week all 7 dumpsters over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We had a couple incidents where a couple people drove around through a ditch on the weekend to get in. And we may be able to maybe do a weekend a month.
Oh, okay.
After this, I've got fights this weekend and fights next weekend.
Right.
I've been busy like 4 weeks in a row on the weekends because I want to be around when we do it.
Yes.
So once we can figure out decide on a date, I'll let you guys know that we can advertise it. And we'll just do it all day until the dumpsters fill, because I'm sure they'll fill. Once they're filled, we'll close it, and then we can
Okay.
get in Monday morning.
If we could do like a second or fourth opposite.
Yeah, we won't want to do it when you
Yeah.
guys do it.
Okay, that'd be great. That'd be
We do that
fantastic.
once a month, and that might help out as well.
Right.
But other than that, everything's going pretty good, pretty smooth with it. We're not
Yeah.
having too many problems with it. And Champy's been very good to us, Bobby has been, you guys have been, so we're just glad to be able to help out.
Thank you very much.
And we did get our levy rate yesterday at 4.30.
Oh.
Ours is going to be up by 2%.
Okay.
We've wanted to, for years now, be able to get to the position where we could lower the property taxes, but there's just so many uncertainties with everything that we have to do that we just, I doubt that we ever get there.
I think the concern is from the counties and the cities is that there's no new revenue streams coming in at the state. They're taking it from the cities and the counties. And that's what is happening. And we're in this is going to be a serious problem unless we deal with it.
Well, the homestead's going to be a serious problem for us because we have
Yeah.
a lot of seniors in West County. And our B&O and obviously the B&O and the property tax will be 2 big
Right.
revenue sources. So we're a little more than a little concerned over the homestead thing. So, but we'll follow you guys and see if you guys are the smartest 3 guys we know. So
Huey, Louie, and Dewey sometimes people think.
we'll be right behind you.
Well, thank you very
Hey,
much.
Diane, your hair
Yes,
looks nice
Mayor.
today.
Yeah. Any department supervisors would like to speak?
And Diane.
He raised his hand. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm happy to announce that Arnottsville School, the recycling program is up and running. They got it set yesterday.
Good.
Bobby Benson, Executive Director from Marion County, said they're ready. The next 2 sites will be set up, I think, shortly.
Okay.
But once again, and Ben, hopefully you could take this part of it down. It's not single stream at the 3 western sites.
Right.
It's source separated out there because that's how Marion County wants to do it. But Arnottsville's ready. I believe they had 7 bins, looked like it was set up in the picture I saw. And I think, Wadestown, and I think they're gonna use Mason-Dixon Park, I think, but they haven't confirmed that part of it yet, but they should be set up soon. So they're up and running.
Okay. Any other? Okay, reports from the oh, I'm sorry.
If I may, I just thought of something when Jamie said that. If this thing doesn't, obviously, by the way, that the letter and everything with the 3 members that didn't want to participate in the meetings from the
Right.
Solid Waste Authority, if this thing looks like it's going to become something that we need to do beyond July 1st,
Right.
might be a possibility to change ours back to a get away from the single stream, if Marion County would want that extra bulk.
Okay.
I mean, that's just a thought. In fact, I just thought of that when he said that. So that may be something to consider, a little food for thought for the near future, because, we don't mind doing what we're doing, but we don't want to, we didn't undertake this to be a full-time job.
Right.
So it's just a thought. So
Okay, I appreciate it. And that's the kind of options we're going to be looking at. Okay. Reports from county commissioners, sir?
I did one thing, this was on my own. I was appointed to represent us relative to what Republic is proposing as a 44% rate increase. So I sent out a letter, which was a personal letter, it was not on our county commission stationery, suggesting to them that perhaps there might be a reason given for the rate increase of, let's say, 22% instead of 44%, if indeed Republic was willing to institute a recycling program pickup in the county, thus relieving us of this, not burden, but allowing them to be responsible, let's just say, a green bag pickup curbside once a month. I did get a response. This office is in receipt of your protest letter, which will be entered onto the docket and lodged in the formal case files and distributed to the commission and staff. Blah, blah, blah. It does at least offer an alternative, if you will, solution. I don't know that it's a solution. I don't know whether it would be acceptable by either Republic or the Public Service Commission, but it may be a way, perhaps, if we decided to support it, that we could have recycling for almost about 90 to 95% of the county in that endeavor without the county commission being involved.
And could we have a copy of that letter so we'll have that as recommendations
Diane can
come?
provide
Okay,
that.
as things come. Okay. That's
it.
It's interesting because I talked to Gary Sayer down there, and I don't have his card right now on me. He's like executive director for the Solid Waste Recyclers Association of companies and stuff, and that was his very recommendation.
Okay.
That what we need to do is put Republic down and say, look, we want to see your numbers. We want to go through why you want it, but include the recycling requirement in any support of any increase. So you had come up with that. I hadn't even talked to you about it, but
Okay.
but Gary Sayers suggested that down there. So I think it's a good viable solution. I mean, it's a good proposal from his standpoint as a representative of the company side. So.
I guess the only question is whether or not the commission would use, as I said, this was a personal letter sent to the Public Service Commission, whether or not this commission would choose to publicly support it on our stationery with direction that, we might do this.
I think we would have to get, or what Gary Sayer recommended, is that we get Republic in here and discuss their rates and then decide whether we can support them or not.
All right. It's fine with me.
And
That's why I did it personally.
Yes.
Well, no, I
Makes
appreciate
sense.
that.
You did it. That's a good job.
couple other things, and this is for the sheriff. Well, actually, I'll save the sheriff for last.
Most people do.
I want to praise our delegation in the House. As this commission is aware, we have had growing pains with the TIF program, and I think Ben already wrote an article on it. Sorry, I haven't had time to read the papers for the last week or so. But I know Ben interviewed me on this TIF bill that was the governor's bill, and it was negotiated to deal with the problems that exist with the TIF law, and I was very, extremely disappointed that Delegates Monongalia and Manchin, especially Manchin, since northern Marion County is going to benefit so much for this TIF, got up and just said things, and they didn't say one thing that was true. There wasn't one statement about the TIF or what we were doing that was true, and the whole thing was being used as a political maneuvering, and that's what bugs me about being down there, is that there are dedicated delegates and senators down there that are working very, hard. But there's also a group that everything they do is based on politics, who's going to stick it to who, and that's what this case was. They had zero idea what the bill did. And I know you all know because I briefed you on it. They had zero concept of what they were trying to do, or what the unintended consequences of what they were trying to do would be. They had zero knowledge about taxes, about TIFs, and I've been, even back here, I watch on a regular basis, and they really have no grasp of statewide or county tax funding zilch. They just don't understand it. They don't know what they're talking about or what they're doing. But I've got to personally praise our delegation of our five, Fritsch, Statler, Fleischauer, Pasden, Chava, and Dave Pethel. All those delegates, they understood it and they got it. I got to personally praise Joe Statler and Cindy Fritsch I met with them for over an hour, explained everything. They also explained it to the Republicans, and the sad part was that there was a group of delegates that was using this bill to accuse the Republicans of bailing out bond companies, which is so far from the truth and totally unfair and unfounded. So I represented this commission, and I would say again, I praise our delegates who understood and stood up for Monongalia County and didn't bow to political gamesmanship. We got another bill that you alluded to, and maybe you'll want to talk about it some more. Tom called me down there, and every day I tried to leave, some new bill came up, right? I had to stay, one more day. So again, Joe Statler did an excellent job in removing the pilot agreement. This pilot agreement was negotiated by the Monongalia County Development Authority, the Monongalia County Commission at the time, that was 2002, the school board, the sheriff's office, and Longview. The whole basis of the agreement, and my wife Sally was on the Development Authority at the negotiations, and she being a lawyer said she couldn't believe so many lawyers sat in one room could actually talk to one another. There was like 17 lawyers working on this project back in 2002. The whole basis they took to the state, they took to the governor at the time, they took to the school board, was that the pilot money from Longview would stay in Monongalia County. Any other thing by all those entities that I just mentioned, from the sheriff and all around at the time in 2002, would have opposed the pilot agreement if any money would have gone out of Monongalia County. Now, 12 years later, we got the governor trying to grab a hold of that pilot money that was already, promised. It was contract and commitment. And again, Delegate Joe Statler did just a yeoman's job of presenting the situation, and I can report that we had overwhelming passage of his amendment to exclude the pilot. So there was some money.
To that end.
Yes, sir.
Because Joe called me that evening in a panic needing information, and the next day got to commend Kelly Palmer and Diane because they got all the material, all the questions. Joe had 6 questions, and they got it immediately to him. Without the information and the help of those two, this would not have been able to have been done.
Thank you. I was down there, so I didn't see that. So I appreciate that.
They did the work.
Well, thank you.
Kelly did.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Pass that on to Kelly. I don't see her
Yes,
right
please.
now. Now this is sort of a tongue-in-cheek, but not tongue-in-cheek. But go back to your concealed weapons. Okay? Everyone's going to carry concealed weapons. Anyone can carry. You can carry it in the open, but now you're going to be carrying. Well, the House last night has adopted private eminent domain.
So you can't bring.
We are going to allow the gas companies to seize your property. We're going to allow them to come on your property, survey your property, and under this forced pooling is what they call it, they were going to give the power to the gas companies that if you got 80%, of the other people in a gas plot, and you don't want to sell your private property or your gas rates, they can force you to sell. And they could come onto your property. So I just couldn't, when I was listening to that, and Sheriff, I'd like you to comment on that, maybe Chief, I could just see a situation because I know West Virginians. I was born in West Virginia. I know the way I am. If someone's coming on my property, I still got my shotgun, that is going to, they're not going to get too much if I catch them. Okay? So now, not only are they going to be coming on your property to forcibly remove your property from you, they're going to be able to carry. So the landman will be able to come up with a gun on underneath their coat. And I could see real shootouts over
gas
their
rates.
land. I mean, both sides are going to be carrying. The landmen will be able to carry. They won't need to concede. They'll come on your land. I can see real shootouts. What do you think, Sheriff or Chief? What do you think? I can see that happening.
It would be absolutely a volatile situation if that indeed passes and becomes law. Because the comment you just made, I can see happening very easily. That would be a terrible situation. That's why, and that's even just another good reason for an argument against passing this concealed carry law without proper training, without proper background checks. But when you allow workers, the gas company or any other entity, to carry guns onto somebody else's property, knowing those people really don't want them there, I could foresee some major issues. The second thing, I wouldn't want them on my property. Now, Perry has more property than I do, so he's probably got more gas. So they can go all directly to his house. But no, I mean, and I say that jokingly, but absolutely, and I agree. I don't know anybody, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, anywhere, that would want somebody
Oh, my
coming
goodness.
from a utility company.
Right.
Telling them, you have to let us on your property, and we'll dig up what we want to dig up.
Yeah.
And if we repair it.
And we'll take it
or
from
take
you.
your property,
Yeah.
that they're just gonna sit in their house and say, oh, okay,
No.
go ahead.
Because
When you're done, let me know.
Because we
That's
do,
not gonna
we do
happen.
have an issue every now and then with meter readers.
Right.
Like the gas company, electric company, they won't let them come on to read their meter, and that's all they wanna do. So we, as a courtesy, send somebody out to talk to the landowner, but if you're gonna tell them, we're bringing them on your land, and we're gonna take your land, it might be a little bit
Right.
different situation.
I can just see some real shoot 'em ups. Just going, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I am totally opposed to private eminent domain, always have been. I have no problem with someone exercising their right to carry, as long as it's not on my property. I want to carry on my property, but I don't want anyone else to be allowed to carry unless I know it.
I think in that situation, you're putting the property owner in a position they would never put themselves in, and you're making them react in a way that they would never dream of reacting otherwise.
Right? Well, I could see people answering their door every time with a shotgun. You weren't here, Kelly, but Commissioner Hawkins pointed out that I was talking about the pilot agreement, and he pointed out that you and Diane worked very hard to get all those numbers that Joe Statler needed to make an excellent debate. I don't know if you heard his debate, but he did an excellent job, and you gave him the numbers, so thank you very much for that. And that's all I have.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. First, I want to apologize if you've seen while I was on the phone, just for your information, there's a 2-hour early dismissal in the school system. I'm coaching tennis, so all my students would call me, do we have practice or not? I said yes, and then the superintendent overruled that and said there's now no practice for anyone. So if you have children, they're coming home 2 hours early. And that's what was going on, why I had to use my phone. Second thing, and I do want to talk a little bit about, not only thanking Kelly and Eldon and Ed, but it was really great to see the three of us work quickly as a team. I think the public needs to be aware about this. This is Monongalia County. What is about to happen? Could have happened. House Bill 2478, which, thank the Lord, I'm really serious that Delegate Statler found out about it, and it's only 18 pages, but there's one major sentence in there that he had learned about, and it basically, the allocated state aid shall be adjusted in any county receiving payments or contributions in lieu of property taxes. Well, no one knew what really went through the whole thing until they had learned, as Eldon said, we have Longview Power Plant. There are 6 counties or 10?
No, 9.
9 counties that have pilot agreements or PILT agreements, as some people call them, payment in lieu of taxes. What this would do, it would not take any of the county funds, but if you negotiated, which we did, which is what, 72% of the thing goes to the school system. That's $1.8 million this year that will be taken out of the school budget and taken away from the kids of Monongalia County. As it progresses, it goes up to $5 million. So we are talking the possibility of Monongalia County residents losing $100 million or more in over the length of the contract. This was something so serious that this is one of the things where I'm really pleased. You had a Republican call, Republican and Democrats, it didn't matter. What we saw was all 5 of us House delegate members, I called Bob Beach, everyone jumped on this. In the interim, let me tell you, I had one of my friends go to the meeting, and this just came through. House Bill 2478 was passed with an amendment 46 to 44. So there's still 10 more people that it could still be resurrected, because there was also a uniform, what happens is when the governor passes a bill, puts it also in the Senate. Senate Bill 288. I just got a report, okay, that House Bill 2478 passed the Senate Education Committee. There were no amendments relating to the pilot funds. The bill now goes to the Finance Committee. No one from the governor's office was there, which we knew was going to happen. However, because of our concerns and what we've been doing, the 3 of us, we got a hold of a number of the other counties. Senators Donna Boley and John Unger said they were inundated by constituents calling them about concerns about the pile of funds and the loss of funds for their county. And now we have 2 more people who are jumping on the bandwagon, the senators. They were quite satisfied with Statler's amendment and said that they were going to support the fixed issue with the pile of funds.
Good.
It looks great, but now I need to tell the public how this political system works. You're going to have a compromise bill. The governor has now the opportunity to go in there and put it back in. Or he can wait till a special session. What we are talking about here is hundreds of millions of dollars taken out of counties to go to the state out of the school systems. And that is why this is a very, very big issue and a very important issue for Monongalia County. We stopped it as of today. We don't know what's going to happen when it goes to finance. We don't know if there's going to be, so it could be changed in finance, in the compromise, or in a new hearing. So those are 3 more things. What is evident, I think, to the 3 of us is that it's just a matter of time before something's going to happen. We had talked to the Board of Education members. I talked to Ryan Lytle. I thought they were coming in today, and that was what the executive session was going to be. I am going to ask that we contact them and see if we can meet with them on an emergency basis, because this is going to happen in the next week or so, to see if we could sit down and meet and discuss what our avenues could be.
I think that's an important thing because Joe won a battle, and
Right.
and Joe led it, but our delegation was there.
Mhm.
But we won a battle, but it could flip.
Right.
You know, the same way with the TIF bill. Now, I met with our senators, and they understand it, and they understand that what we're doing in administrating has nothing to do with any real cost, and that you know our TIF is outperforming all projections. So they understand it. But 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I'll try to be listening to that. 3 o'clock this afternoon, that will be that TIF bill will be for Senate Finance, and I don't believe there's a problem. If I believed there was a problem, I would still be down there. I wouldn't be here right now. But I've talked to our representatives and other people on the finance of the Senate. So I think we're safe. We don't have that political gamesmanship going on over the Senate. That's one thing I realized is that there's much more collegiality between the senators than there is between the House delegations. And
Right.
But I think we need to meet with the board because it could be put back on.
Yeah.
But there's another thing. There's another issue that we're addressing that the state needs to address. They talk about all these needs and things that aren't happening, things that aren't being done. We have a governor's blue ribbon commission on highways that's sat there for years, that's been ignored. The reality is you can't provide public services if you don't have the money to pay for it. Now, when are we going to have somebody with courage to stand up at the state level and say, we're done stealing from the local level, we need to raise our own revenue. We can't keep stealing from the counties. But that's a harsh word, and I know people may cringe, but the reality is not much different than the guy on his porch that the gas company's going to come. They're coming to steal it. And guess what? The House of Delegates last night said, that's all right. Your gas company, we'll allow you to steal it. You can do it. Well, the same thing's going on with the counties, and it's scary. But at some point, the governor, the House of Delegates leaders, the senator, someone's going to have to stand up and be honest with the people. If you want good roads, if you want good infrastructure, if you want good public safety and services, you got to pay for it. Let's be honest about it and quit lying about it. I know this commission's that way. We've always been forthright about it. So
What I'm asking is if Diane could call them.
So I think that we need to have a meeting with the school board because we're not out of the woods yet
Right.
on this.
In fact, and just because it deals with contracts, so on, I think it has to be an executive session to be discussed, whether ours or theirs. And
We may want to have representatives from the Development Authority there as well.
exactly, I think that would actually,
The fact of the matter is, I think Joe's argument that it
Yes.
was a contract carried more with the majority of the delegates than anything.
and again, I just want to thank, Eldon was down there putting out the fires. Ed was working, and he's trying to work on this, this bill with Republic wanting to go 44%. I think the three of us did not realize in the last couple of weeks that we're doing as much outside of this county, but that has direct effect on this county as we're now dealing with. And I want to say I'm very proud of being part of this because we're working real well together and we're crossing. There's no Republican or Democrat. The bottom line is this: this is our kids, this is the teachers, this is the school system and parents who are losing $100 million of our own money. That is not acceptable for the three of us. With that being said, I think that was it.
When and where?
Okay, what I'd like to do is call and say either we can set up whether they want to have it and we'll come to their meeting and go in their executive session, or we can have it, we have to have 48 hours. But see, we need to meet within the next 5 days because that's when the bills will be transferring over and we need to evaluate and see what our options are. The bottom line is this: whether it's the Board of Education or the County Commission, we want to, this is our money, that $100 million, we want it to stay here. And again, I do also want to thank Kelly. She got up with all these numbers really quickly, and when you found out, I called Eldon at, what was it, 5:30? I was walking the dogs, it was 5:30. We sent him back there at 5:30 at night, and Joe Stadler deserves a world of credit. I want you to know, he really came through, and he realized that, this was a serious situation. So let's see if we can get in the next 5 days and see if they have to announce in 48 hours, see what we can do.
Okay, and is it an executive session?
I think we have to have an executive.
Basically, that'd either be Friday or Monday.
Yeah, it would have to go we'd have to, whether it's their meeting or ours, but it would have to go in executive session so we can discuss because it's contractual. Okay, good, thank you. Do I have a motion for adjournment? Oh, no, I don't. Hold on. Okay. Mike Wolf has requested the commission issue a declaration of a state of emergency for Mon County. Yesterday, the governor issued a state of preparedness anticipating flooding across the state. He made further announcements. Currently in Mon County, we have 17 homes that have already reported flooding in the Tyrone area. The declaration will allow Mon County to receive assistance and possible financial support at a later date. So do I have a motion for a statement?
Based on the information just provided from our 911 Mecca Center, I move that we declare a state of emergency for Monongalia County.
Second?
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Second, okay.
That has to do with flooding and also the,
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like the next 36 hours to 48 hours. With that, I have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're out of here.